The time has come. Welcome to KrankyMotto, home of self-improvement. Subscribe for more life-enthusing content. Now. Earth 65, Gwen Stacy, also known as Spider-Woman, struggles with feelings of isolation and the weight of her responsibilities as a superhero. Now, over a year after helping defeat Kingpin with Miles Morales, Gwen Stacy continues to relate her struggle to create relationships with anyone around her, feeling isolated in her role as Spider-Woman. After quitting her band, she remembers the last person she felt close to, her best friend Peter Parker. He, along with his Aunt May, was very close to Gwen and her father, Police Captain George Stacy, though she never told any of them about her double life as a superhero. Now in the present, Gwen returns home to find her dad, who is still determined to bring down the killer of his daughter's best friend. Despite Gwen telling him it's no good, he soon leaves to respond to a disturbance at the Guggenheim Museum. Gwen is soon behind him as Spider-Woman, neutralizing the cops outside and entering to find a parchment-based version of the Vulture has been sucked into her dimension and is wreaking havoc inside. She is pinned down by the villain, but is saved by another interdimensional traveler, Miguel O'Hara, aka Spider-Man 2099, leader of the Spider Society. He tells her that Vulture and others like him have been getting sucked into alternate universes ever since the Collider incident in Miles' world. Now, several months later in Brooklyn on Earth, 1610, a new small-time villain named the Spot tries, unsuccessfully, to rob an ATM using his spots, which create portals whose placement he is unable to control his powers. Miles Morales, aka Spider-Man, arrives to stop him. He does not take the seemingly harmless criminal seriously, as it seems clear he is incompetent and doesn't want to hurt anyone, though Spot insists that he is Spider-Man's nemesis. Before he can explain, Miles gets frantic texts from his parents, Jefferson and Rio, who are waiting for him at school for a meeting with his principal to discuss his collage future. Miles tries to take down Spot quickly, but the haphazard portals lead to a chaotic chase across the city. Miles eventually subdues Spot, but needs to leave to meet his parents. Miles is doing well enough in school, but some of his grades and all of his extracurricular activities have suffered from his unexplained absences. His parents are also concerned that he wants to go to New Jersey to study intergalactic dimensions. Now, soon after he leaves suddenly, seeing that Spot has escaped and Jeff leaves as well, to Rio's annoyance. Jefferson follows Spider-Man, who is back to fighting Spot, the faceless man feeling insulted that Spider-Man thinks of him as low-tier villain. While teleporting all over, the three of them end up in ruins of the Alchemax Collider. The Spot tells Spider-Man that this is where they were both created, as Spot used to be a scientist at Alchemax, the one who Miles threw a bagel at in the first film, and ran the test which brought the spider that bit Miles through from another dimension. Likewise, when Miles destroyed the Collider, the energy released caused an accident that turned Spot permanently into the humanoid portal creature his is now. The Spot was shunned by his colleagues, friends, and even family for his condition. He becomes enraged and tries to attack Spider-Man and Lieutenant Morales, but accidentally kicks himself into a deep portal which closes behind him. Jeff is frustrated that the criminal got away, as well as all the property damage caused by the fight. He confides in Spider-Man about his struggles to be a good father and husband, and the masked Miles awkwardly offers advice before leaving. The Spot finds himself in a void, where he sees many portals made by his spots. Looking through them, he finds he can travel to different dimensions through them, but loses energy and is unable to return to the in-between space. He determines to find a way to get more power to control the void and defeat Spider-Man. Miles continues to try and balance his life as Miles with his responsibilities as Spider-Man. While late to a big party to celebrate his dad's upcoming promotion to police captain, he stops to get cakes, but is constantly waylaid by Spider-Man duties on his way back, missing his father's speech. When he finally makes it, the cakes are ruined, and his parents confront him about his secretive behavior. Miles becomes frustrated trying to come up with an explanation, and snaps at his parents. Rio and Jeff ground him, and Miles storms off to his room. Gwen suddenly appears through a dimensional portal controlled by a watch given to her by Miguel, and she invites him to hang out. They suit up and Gwen tells him all about Miguel's organization, the Spider Society, which she has joined to help protect the various universes. The two patrol the city for a while before stopping to talk, and Gwen confides in him that he is the only friend she's made since her Peter died, as Miles relates his own struggles with the pressure from his parents. He thinks maybe he should just tell them the truth, but Gwen warns against it. As they get closer, Gwen remarks that in every other universe, a version of Gwen Stacy falls for Spider-Man, though it always ends in tragedy. Miles optimistically states that there may be a first time for the story to end happily. They return to the party where Gwen shows Miles her dimension jumping watch, which also stabilizes her so she doesn't glitch when she is in other worlds. Miles asks her about joining the Spider Society, but she becomes suddenly closed off about the subject and implies that it's a highly specialized and elite group. Jeff and Rio barge in to meet Gwen, immediately disapproving of her friendship with Miles. Gwen has to leave when her watch indicates to her, and Jeff leaves Rio to talk to Miles. They have a heart-to-heart talk, but fearing what Gwen told him, Miles still doesn't reveal he is Spider-Man. Rio gives him her blessing to go after Gwen. Miles suits up and tracks Spider-Gwen to an abandoned and recently damaged building, using his powers to turn invisible and follow her inside. She uses her watch to recreate what happened, seeing that Spot made a miniature collider to give him enough power to dimension hop. Gwen freaks out and is called by Jess, who is angry that Gwen failed to stop Spot before he escaped. She realizes Gwen disobeyed direct orders to stay away from Miles, though Gwen insists she had to see him. She tells Jess that she will leave Miles' dimension forever, and the older Spider-Woman gives her one last chance to get Spot before she tells Miguel. Lila tracks him, and Gwen uses her watch to go through a portal. How important is the Spot? The Spot is a Marvel villain who first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man #589. His real name is Dr. Jonathan Owen, a scientist who worked at Alchemax. Through a failed experiment involving interdimensional portals, he gained the ability to create spots that act as portals, allowing him to teleport himself and objects through them. The Spot's powers, however, are unpredictable, and he often struggles to control their placement, which makes him a less effective villain and sometimes even a comedic figure in the comics.
Subscribe to KrankyMottos.
New uploads weekly.